Planning a trip to Switzerland in 2025, there are some very good news, there are some things we need to talk about and more, because this is Switzerland Insider. My name is Greg, I am Swiss, and my goal is to help you travel Switzerland like a local. Now, as of 2025, there are new entry requirements when traveling to Switzerland.
Now, at this point, it is important to say that these new requirements have not been implemented yet, but are planned to be rolled out throughout this year sometime. Now, this should give a little heads up when you plan to travel this summer. These new requirements are
the ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System. Now, this is a quick online application that costs €7 and is valid for 3 years or until your passport expires. It's usually approved instantly, but just to be safe, apply at least 4 to 5 days before your trip. You can do that through the official website, which is linked below. But don't worry, I'll mention it again towards the end of the video, so you won't forget. Now, in addition to ETIAS, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, they introduced as well the EU entry-exit system, where it is the something like that, S, okay? Now, with this, there are biometric checks like fingerprints and facial scans, and you need to do that when you enter the country. Now, off to the next tongue twister, we have the Berner Oberland pass, okay? It's the Bernese Oberland pass, which is a Swiss train pass, Swiss travel pass, that got a lot worse for the year 2025. It's mainly because of one company where in 2024 I thought, why the hell do they offer such a thing? Because it was completely competing or out-competing even their own product. Now, the Berner Oberland Pass is a rail pass that is in the Bernese Alps, okay? It's normally the Jungfrau region and around. Now, all the changes predominantly happened in the Jungfrau region, okay? Now, the good news first, Schilthorn cable car, which is partially open already as a completely new build, okay, newly constructed. Now that is now 100% covered under the Berner Oberland Pass. And also have been some changes on the Golden Pass Express, which is a very scenic train going from Interlaken all the way to Montreux by Lake Geneva. And there, the entire stretch until Montreux is now included in the Berner Oberland Pass. And now the not so good news. It's happening sort of in the Jungfrau region with the Jungfrau Railways, which is sort of like the dominant company around there, okay? Now, the Jungfrau Railways, they have their own travel pass, which is called the Jungfrau Travel Pass. Now, obviously, this is a huge competition. Yeah, you were wondering why they were doing it, but obviously, they're very good at marketing, they're very good at strategy. Now, whereas before, Grindelwald First, Schienige Platte, and Harderkolm were completely covered under the Berner Oberland Pass, they are now for 50% discount. Now, and the routes towards Kleine Scheidegg or Eigelgletscher are now 25% off. Next up, we talk a little bit about nature, and that is in the last couple of years, at least it was my observation, maybe some other people as well, there was a big amount of rainfalls, okay, which resulted in floods and landslides. There were some very severe ones in Zermatt, okay, there was a huge flood, okay, last year, where the river went over into the streets, into the houses and everything. Okay, the trains didn't run for a long time and it's only accessible by train. Same happened in Saas-Fee, car-free village. There, people had to be evacuated by helicopter. If you're having plans, if you need to go back home for work and so on. I'm not saying you shouldn't visit these places, but just keep in mind that when you hear some rain warning, this can mean actually something severe. Now keep in mind, although Switzerland is very beautiful and picturesque and it all looks sort of like a fairy tale, it can have a very dark and harsh side with these natural forces that in my eyes were a little bit more in the last couple of years. So this is the one thing, but the other thing is also that we saw that around Brienz, on Lake Brienz, okay, in the Jungfrau region, there overnight there was a huge landslide, okay, and took a lot of chalets with it. That gets really dangerous as well, not only water, but also with rocks. We had in Ticino, in the Bavona Valley, huge landslides, like one village of Fontana, which is a beautiful village, is like basically half of it is gone by now, okay? Now, obviously, when you have these rocks and everything included, that means things get destroyed. And so did in Brienz, for example, where the Brienzer Rotor, which is a very scenic mountain, okay, with a very beautiful ride up on the railway. So that it was in mid-August, the season was gone because half of the tracks, or at least the ones around in the village, they were damaged, okay, so they need to be repaired. It's going to open up again this year, obviously. They did a very good job also with donations, and it's opening up in June. Now, next up, you might have heard about over-tourism in Switzerland, okay? And they sort of like push it a little bit in the news, also into international news, that places like Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen and Lucerne and Interlaken as well, where it's although not that much, are so overpopulated and overcrowded during the summer that you cannot even move. Okay, that means we have Times Square, okay, conditions, or Oxford Street conditions. No, we don't, okay? I need to debunk this a little bit. There are a lot of people, yes, okay? And when you think Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen as two very charming fairy tale-like villages, okay, that live with the calm and so on. Of course, like when you have a group of 20 people already, it's overcrowded, okay? And there are a lot of people, okay? There are so many people that sometimes you cannot walk on the sidewalks anymore. People walk on the road and so on. And that's just the way it is, okay? But don't let yourself scare away from that. You can still visit these places, okay? There was the news as well that they might put some fee in it, okay, for you to go there. But there, the implementation is going to be actually really difficult and they do not know how to do it. So it's going to take a long time probably until they do something about it, okay? Just what you can do is you can do either traveling more towards spring or towards fall, or in the morning or in the evening, okay? So that means you can enjoy some time when you plan a little bit around that. If you don't care, if you just want to be with a lot of people who are really happy, which is, I think, a fantastic time in the Jungfrau region in summer. Now, the next point I teased a little bit already, and that is the Schilthorn cable car, okay? It's completely new, completely refurbished. Over the last couple of years, they did it. This year, it's going to be fully implemented all the way up. It's going to be even quicker, okay? It's going to be like 20, 25 minutes from the valley floor up all the way to Schilthorn. I can't wait to go there review. So around March or April, when it starts opening up, expect a video on this channel to go there, and we will do that together. Now, Switzerland changed its custom-free shopping limit because too many people went from Switzerland to Germany or to France or to Austria, okay, to buy stuff, mainly groceries, okay, which is there already cheaper. And then what you could do is you can like sort of reclaim the value-added tax of 20% of Germany, which makes it even more cheap. So a lot of people who live actually near the border, which is actually quite a lot of people, they just went abroad for their daily or weekly shopping. So the free amount, so the total value of shopping per person per day, you could take back like basically up until 24 was 300 Swiss francs. It is now 150 Swiss francs. This is sort of a measure by the Swiss government, so the shopping happens more inland. Now with the Berner Oberland pass, I didn't mention it before, actually the prices are going to stay the same, and for the next happy point, the Swiss travel pass, they do so as well. So basically when you take in all the inflation and so on, this year actually you can say you can get a small discount on these rail passes. And last but not least, this is something very cool and something where we're going to go a lot on this summer. It is going to be planned. We're going to go to Valais because by the Lonely Planet, it has been voted as one of the 10 regions of the year 2025. So many people only know like Zermatt from Valais, but this is a huge canton. It's his own world. It's got fantastic nature. It's got a really special culture, and it's bilingual as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel for more cool tips and information. Also, check out my website in the description below for travel guides, travel consultations, and more. So thank you very much. See you soon around in Switzerland. Bis bald und tschüss.